You've been lied to by your teachers, your emotions, and worst of all, by your own voice, that soft whisper in your head that says, take it easy, don't overthink, just go with the flow. That voice is not your friend. That voice is a leash. Every time you listen to it, you surrender power, silently, invisibly, until one day you wake up surrounded by people who walk over you, laugh behind your back, and forget your name when you leave the room. You are not stuck because of others. You are stuck because you've been manipulated by the one enemy you never suspected, your own emotions. You were trained to feel everything, but taught to control nothing. Anger, suppress it. Fear, drown in it. Doubt, let it own you. You've been carrying dead weight in your own chest and calling it being real. But being real doesn't mean being ruled. It means mastering what breaks most men. So here's the truth: sharp, cold, and final. The game doesn't care about how you feel. Power doesn't pity the emotional. Respect doesn't bow to the sensitive. You want to be seen? Control yourself. You want to be feared? Starve your weakness. You want to win? Then sharpen your inner blade. Because every man is at war, even if the battlefield is invisible. And the ones who win are the ones who go cold. This is not motivation. This is not inspiration. This is transformation. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be undeniable. Stop bleeding for people who'd never bleed for you. Kill the softness before it kills your future. And listen carefully. Because from here on out, every word is a weapon. First law: the first war is with yourself. Before you conquer anything out there, you've got to crush what's in here. Your mind is not your friend, not yet. It's a wild, twitching animal that's been trained by fear, fed by weakness, and ruled by emotion. You've been taught to negotiate with it, to listen to your feelings. That's a setup. The mind doesn't obey suggestions, it obeys force. So stop asking it for permission to be great. Take control like a tyrant takes a throne. Most men lose before they even enter the arena because they bring a traitor into the fight, themselves. Self-doubt walks beside them like a shadow, whispering hesitation into every move. That's not your shadow. That's the part of you that's been coddled by comfort. It doesn't want to die, and it shouldn't. It should be executed, publicly, repeatedly, because the man who cannot command himself will be commanded by everyone else. Your weakness will not be ignored. It will be targeted. You need to understand something brutal. Your emotions are not reality. They are reactions, chemical storms, childhood ghosts dressed in adult skin. You feel tired. That's your body testing your discipline. You feel angry. That's your unmet standard screaming for change. You feel sad. Good. Use it. Don't cry. Calculate. Don't vent. Vow. When you stop letting emotions pull the trigger and start using them like ammo, you become a different breed of man. You become dangerous. This is your first war, and there will be blood. You will have to sit with your pain without running. You will have to look your jealousy in the eye and strip it of its power. You will have to bury the boy who wanted to be liked and raise the man who demands respect. It's not pretty, but it's necessary. This war does not reward comfort. It rewards conquest, internal conquest. Comment: I see it now. If this just cracked the lie your mind has been feeding you, because if you're still blaming the world, you're still playing their game. This is the first law of mental power. Crush the inner enemy, or it will crush you. Second law: emotion is a weapon, not a master. You were never meant to be emotionless. You were meant to be emotionally weaponized. There's a difference. Emotion isn't weakness. Undisciplined emotion is. The problem isn't that you feel too much. The problem is that you hand your mind over to every storm that passes through. When anger flares up, you explode. When sadness knocks, you fold. When fear creeps in, you obey. That's not living. That's emotional slavery dressed as authenticity. Here's the truth that will rattle most men. Emotion is the most powerful tool in human psychology, but only when you learn to hold the blade, not fall on it. Machiavelli never said suppress your feelings. He said control your appearances. Be what is required to win. You can feel rage and still sit still. You can feel fear and still speak powerfully. You can feel grief and still move like a king. That's control. That's dominance. That's what breaks average men. Pattern interrupt. Listen carefully. Your emotions are not sacred. They are not your identity. They are fuel. Your job is to choose how that fuel burns. Does it scorch your future, or does it ignite your discipline? You decide. If you're ruled by your emotions, then every manipulator, every narcissist, every weak voice in your life already owns you. They don't have to control you. They just have to provoke you. Snap that leash. The second law of mental power is this: emotion must be mastered like fire, or it will consume the empire you're trying to build. You don't get to feel everything and lead. You don't get to rage and still be respected. You don't get to cry and expect fear. Men who wield emotion strategically, these are the ones who bend reality. Cold mind, hot heart. That's the formula. Calm on the surface, fire underneath. Comment below with the one word that just hit you the hardest. Let it burn through the weakness. Let it mark the shift. This is not emotional suppression. This is emotional weaponization. And the blade is now in your hand. Third law: the power of cold logic in a burning world. The world wants you emotional because emotional men are easy to control. They buy more, chase harder, apologize quicker, and think slower. But when you go cold, you break that system. You stop reacting to noise and start calculating angles. You stop responding to insult and start analyzing intent. That's when you become dangerous, because cold logic in a heated world is a superpower. Look around. Weak men are boiling. One text ruins their mood. One disrespect turns them into clowns. One failure and they spiral. You're not here to spiral. You're here to structure. You don't get emotional when the game turns. You adjust the strategy. You don't cry over outcomes. You dissect them. Logic isn't numbness. It's ruthless clarity. The ability to see the board when everyone else is playing blindfolded with ego. Here's your tactical power insight. Never make decisions in the heat. The moment you feel triggered, pause, not to cool off, but to calculate. What do they gain if I explode? What do I lose if I show my hand? Who benefits from my reaction? That pause, that one cold second, can shift your entire trajectory. In business, in relationships, in life. The calm man leads the room, even when he speaks last. The third law of mental power is this: cold minds make hot moves. If you want respect, you don't scream louder, you move smarter. If you want control, you don't react, you redirect. Like Machiavelli wrote, those who control appearances control reality. You want to dominate the game, then stop playing emotionally. Start playing inevitably. Ice in your veins, steel in your thoughts. No panic, just pressure. Drop A in the comments if you're done letting emotions make your moves for you. Let them rage, you calculate. Let them burn, you build. They can't predict a man who sees the fire and chooses to walk through it cold. This is not detachment. This is command. Fourth law: pain is the price of power. You've been taught to escape pain, to run from it, to numb it with comfort, distraction, entertainment. But pain is not your enemy. It's your entrance fee. Every man you respect, every force of nature you wish to become, paid for it in suffering. There is no throne without torment, no power without pressure. You want to be unbreakable? Then stop avoiding what forges you. You think pain means something's wrong. Pain means you're shedding weakness. When your body aches, it's growing stronger. When your pride burns, you're learning truth. When your emotions collapse, you're being rebuilt. But only if you stay in the fire. Most men tap out the second it hurts. That's why they stay average. That's why they stay invisible. They never stayed long enough to transform. They chose comfort. You will not. Here's the power shift. You must start hunting discomfort, not for ego, not for show, but because it's the only path to mental power. Wake up early when you don't want to. Speak the truth when your voice shakes. End the weak friendships. Confront your flaws with a blade, not a bandage. Discipline is built in the tension between what you want and what you do anyway. Let it stretch you. The fourth law of mental power is this: you will suffer. The only question is, will it be meaningful? Will you suffer chasing greatness or suffer decaying in comfort? Will you suffer through growth or suffer through regret? Pain is guaranteed, but transformation is earned. When you embrace that, you stop fearing life. You start feeding off it. You become something brutal, something precise, something inevitable. Comment below, "I don't flinch." Let that be your declaration, not of arrogance, but of readiness. You are not here to feel safe. You are here to feel your limits stretch and tear, and in that tear, you rise. Fifth law: never react, always calculate. Weak men react, strong men calculate. That's the difference between being a slave to your emotions and becoming a weapon. You get hit, you flinch, you get insulted, you bark, you feel insecure, you overcompensate. Reaction is a leash. And every time you respond without thinking, someone else is yanking it. Let that sink in. Every uncontrolled reaction is a signpost exposing your weakness to the world. You ever notice the most dangerous men don't speak much? They don't flinch, they don't explain, because they're calculating. While average men react, real men observe. They watch who's emotional, who's unstable, who's faking confidence. And then they strike, not with emotion, but with strategy. That's what makes them lethal. Not their size, not their status, their mind, their patience, their surgical precision. There's no honor in emotional honesty if it destroys your position. The modern world romanticizes the man who expresses everything, but that man is a blueprint for manipulation. When you're predictable, you're controllable. When you're reactive, you're programmable. But when you go silent, when you don't move first, don't speak first, don't flinch, you become a problem. Because no one knows what you're thinking, and that scares them. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must appear open while remaining impenetrable. This is not deception, this is dominance. You're not here to be transparent, you're here to be effective. You can't be both vulnerable and untouchable. Choose. The more calculated your mind, the less power anyone holds over you. And the less you reveal, the harder you are to use. Think in moves, not moods. That's the law. You're not mad, you're making adjustments. You're not sad, you're re-evaluating. You're not offended, you're identifying the weak. Every reaction you kill sharpens your edge. That's how kings are made. Not by screaming louder, but by standing still while everyone else burns themselves out trying to shake you. This is war, and every war is won long before it's fought. In the silence, in the calculation, in the choice not to react. Comment, "I don't move first," if you're ready for the kind of calm that makes people nervous. Sixth law: harness the shadow, your inner monster. There's a part of you you've been taught to hide, the part that hungers, that rages, that doesn't care who approves. That part is the shadow, and it's not evil, it's essential. The world told you to kill it, to smile, to soften, to sit down and behave. But you can't lead armies with softness. You can't face betrayal with a smile. You don't win by being tame. You win by training the monster inside, not denying it. You've been lied to, again. They told you the dark parts of you are bad, the anger, the aggression, the dominance, the obsession. But here's the truth. What you repress owns you. What you confront serves you. That rage you feel. It's not a flaw, it's a flare, warning you that your boundaries have been crossed. That need to dominate. It's not toxic. It's a signal that you were never meant to crawl. You were built to conquer. Your shadow is not your enemy. Your ignorance of it is. The most dangerous men are not the ones who act polite. They're the ones who know exactly what they're capable of and choose when to unleash it. They don't deny their darkness. They direct it, like a blade, like fire, like a wolf on a leash. Jung said it best, a man who is not dangerous is useless. Let that burn. Useless. The sixth law of mental power is this: you must know your darkness and bring it to heel. That means looking your flaws in the eye without flinching. Your envy, your violent thoughts, your bitterness, your selfishness. They are not sins to hide from. They are weapons left unsharpened. The more you suppress them, the more they control you. But when you take ownership, you stop being haunted and start becoming feared. This is where most men stop. They get just strong enough to look good, just stable enough to function, but deep down, they're still afraid of their own shadow, not you. You'll go deeper. You'll pull that darkness out of the basement and make it kneel. That's how kings are born. Not through perfection, but through controlled chaos, through war within, through making the monster part of your strategy. This isn't about becoming cruel, it's about becoming complete. You've mastered your reactions, you've killed emotional slavery. Now it's time to awaken the other half, the part that refuses to be ignored, the part that's been waiting. Comment, I see the monster now. Let the world deal with your mask, but you'll know what's beneath it. Seventh law, respect is engineered, not given. Respect isn't earned by being good. It's not earned by being nice, loud, loyal, or emotional. It's engineered, built brick by brick through presence, posture, and pressure. If you're waiting for the world to recognize you, you've already lost. No one's coming to hand you dignity. You have to become undeniable, not by force, but by psychological gravity. When you move, the room should shift. When you speak, silence should follow. Here's the truth that will offend the soft. Likability is a trap. The more you seek to be liked, the more you shrink. You smile too much. You explain too much. You apologize for having standards. That's not kindness. That's weakness being marketed as virtue. The man who is respected is often misunderstood, even disliked, because power isn't built on compliance. It's built on conviction, and that conviction makes weak men uncomfortable. Start here. Speak less. Watch more. Move deliberately. Every unnecessary word bleeds authority. Every frantic gesture signals insecurity. When you slow down, you project control. When you hold silence, people lean in. When you don't rush to explain yourself, they assume you don't need to, because you don't. You're not there to justify your existence. You're there to command it. From now on, let your restraint do the talking. Machiavelli knew this game centuries ago. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. That's not cruelty, it's leverage. Fear doesn't mean terror, it means consequence. If someone disrespects you, they lose something. Access, energy, presence. Respect is built when people know you have the power to walk and the discipline to do it. Cut off sloppy energy fast. Ghost games, kill gossip, withdraw silently, let absence speak. The seventh law of mental power is this: design how the world sees you, or be seen as whatever suits them. That means crafting your voice, your face, your posture, your silence. It means learning when to stand still in chaos. It means letting people wonder what you're thinking, not flooding them with explanations. Because when they don't know how to read you, they stop underestimating you. You don't chase respect. You create conditions where it becomes the only logical response. You walk like a weapon. You speak like a verdict. You build a reputation that travels 3 rooms ahead of you and silences 5 behind. Comment, I will not be ignored. If that sentence felt like a mirror, you're not becoming cold, you're becoming clear. Eighth law, master of masks. Learn to play roles ruthlessly. The world will try to guilt you into being one thing, one identity, one voice, one personality. Why? Because a single predictable identity is easy to control, easy to guilt, easy to defeat. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize. Every powerful man in history wore masks, not to lie, but to move, to win, to navigate chaos while keeping his soul untouched. If you can't wear masks, you can't lead. You think showing your true self to everyone is strength. That's naivety. That's emotional nakedness disguised as authenticity. The moment everyone knows how you think, how you feel, how you'll react, you're finished. They don't need to fight you. They just need to provoke your reflexes. But the man of power, he adapts. He shifts his posture, his tone, his face. He becomes unreadable because unpredictability is untouchability. Stop thinking of identity as morality. Start thinking of it as strategy. You don't talk the same in the boardroom as you do on the street. You don't speak to enemies the way you speak to brothers. And you sure as hell don't show your pain to people who'll weaponize it. That doesn't make you fake. It makes you selective. It means your emotions report to your vision, not the other way around. Here's how it works. In every room, there's a role that holds leverage. The calm leader, the quiet observer, the dominant speaker, the agreeable ghost. Study the room. Identify the role that shifts power in your favor. Then put it on. Like armor. That's the mask. You don't have to feel it to play it. You just have to play it better than they do. And when the room changes, you change again. The eighth law of mental power is this: adapt your identity or die in someone else's script. You either direct the narrative or get cast in a role that diminishes you. Most men were assigned a mask early. Be nice, be humble, be soft, be agreeable. And they've never taken it off. That mask became a cage, a personality prison. You are here to burn it down and build a wardrobe of weapons. This doesn't mean lie, it means edit. It means every version of you serves the same mission. Every mask protects the same vision. You're not a fraud, you're a tactician. The man who masters masks doesn't lose himself. He becomes immune to emotional invasion. They can't touch what they can't read. They can't attack what they can't predict. You don't need to be authentic in every room. You need to be effective. When the weak call you fake, smile. Let them drown in their emotional exposure. You'll be on the shore calculating your next move in silence. Comment, "They'll never see me the same again." Let that be your turning point. From transparent to untouchable. Ninth law, mental fortresses are built with brutal honesty. Before you become untouchable, you must become unflinchingly honest. Brutal honesty isn't about telling others the truth. It's about finally staring into the mirror and admitting what you've avoided. All the excuses, the fake narratives, the ego masks, the inflated self-worth. You want to be a weapon? Then strip it all away. The lies you tell yourself are the bars of your own cage, and most men are lifers. Let's rip the bandage off. You're not overlooked. You're not misunderstood. You're not just unlucky. You are where you are because of the standards you've tolerated, the discipline you've avoided, the responsibility you've dodged. No one owes you clarity. No one owes you greatness. And no one is coming to pull you from your pit. The only rescue you'll ever get is the one you forge with your own hands. The ninth law of mental power is this: self-deception is the most efficient form of self-destruction. You want strength. It begins with self-interrogation. How many times have you said you don't care just to hide the fact that you're scared? How often have you blamed others, not because they were wrong, but because blaming them was easier than changing yourself? Every time you protect your ego, you weaken your mind. And here's the twisted truth. Most men would rather stay broken than be exposed. They'd rather rot in the illusion that they're doing okay than admit they've been moving in circles for years. That's the disease. That's what turns men soft, reactive, fragile. They can't face their own reflection without flinching, so they run. Into distractions, into comfort, into pretending. But pretending doesn't protect you. It poisons you. Slowly. You want a fortress? You want inner steel? Then here's what you do. Sit alone. No music, no phone, no vices, just you and a notebook. Write the truths you've been avoiding. I'm lazy. I'm weak. I'm fake. I've been lying to myself about who I am. Not for shame, but for freedom. Because once the truth is named, it can be faced. And once it's faced, it can be rewritten. Most people never build anything real because they build on lies. Their confidence is fake. Their goals are borrowed. Their identity is a collage of other people's expectations. That's why it all crumbles when pressure hits. But not you. You will build on truth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. And that's what makes your mind untouchable. It's not comfort that builds resilience. It's confrontation. You don't need therapy. You need truth. Cold, clean, surgical, the kind that makes your stomach sink, but your spine straighten, the kind that ends illusions and begins revolutions, the kind that makes you say, this ends now, I change now, I rise now, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Comment, I told the truth today. Let that be your ritual, because from this point forward, only truth can enter. 10th law. Become untouchable, the emperor within. You've fought the inner war, you've silenced the noise, you've faced the lies, and now you're ready to take the throne. Not a throne they give you, a throne you build, from stone, from solitude, from self-respect. Most men are still begging the world to treat them better. You're becoming the kind of man the world doesn't get to touch. This is not the beginning of your power. This is the unveiling of it. Let's be clear, being untouchable isn't about being numb. It's not about walking around like some emotionless robot. It's about being so rooted, so clear, so utterly in command of yourself that nothing outside of you holds power over you anymore. Not disrespect, not betrayal, not failure. You've seen the worst parts of yourself, and instead of running, you built walls around them and carved a crown from the rubble. The emperor doesn't chase status. He is the status. His presence shifts conversations. His silence bends opinions. His reputation enters before he speaks and lingers long after he's gone. He doesn't fight for respect. He commands it. Not through arrogance, but through alignment. His thoughts, words, and actions form a steel wall. No contradictions, no apologies, no confusion, just clarity that cuts. And here's the paradox. The emperor is feared, not because he tries to be, but because he doesn't need anything from anyone. He's detached from praise. He's immune to guilt. He doesn't perform for validation. He doesn't explain to the insecure. His strength is quiet, controlled, deadly. The loudest voice in the room bows to the calmest one, and he knows it. He's not reactive because he doesn't play others' games. He builds his own. The 10th law of mental power is this: become a sovereign mind. That means you take full responsibility for every thought that enters. You audit your beliefs like weapons. You question your desires. You burn weak habits. You choose solitude when others chase crowds. You protect your energy like royalty protects bloodlines. You don't entertain every conversation. You don't fight battles beneath your level. You don't respond to noise. You watch, you calculate, and then you move once. What separates the emperor from the warrior is restraint. The warrior needs the fight. The emperor decides if there will even be one. That's the highest level of mental dominance. Not being fast, not being feared, but being in control. You don't need to swing anymore. They already know you can. That's the power of presence, of stillness that screams louder than rage ever could. You are not emotional. You are strategic. You are not hard. You are precise. You are not cruel. You are calculated. And in a world where everyone is either exploding or collapsing, your ability to remain still, sharp, and focused makes you a ghost in the machine. They can't touch what they can't predict. They can't break what's already forged. And they can't shake a man who knows who he is, no matter where he stands. Comment: I've claimed the throne. Let it be known, the war was never out there. It was always in your mind. And now, you own it. If this hit you, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we are not here to cope. We are here to conquer.